bucket! Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but Steam is so delightful. Playing Friendsim for the lulz. Give us trolls, give us trolls, give us trolls. Hi guys, welcome back to another round of Friendsim by our lovely people from What Pumpkin and Fellow Traveler. I'm just gonna jump right into this next one. Let's take a look. We just finished up volume 3, I think 2 days ago from my standing. So we're moving on to volume 4 now, and I'm just gonna say Skyla is still my favorite. But we're moving on to volume 4. It looks like we're dealing with some dudes again. This is gonna be cool. Okay, let's do this. Of right and wronged. With the sound of right, is this guy it looks like a Teal Blood, so is he a Phoenix Wright parody? Is he gonna be oh gosh, I don't know a lot about the Phoenix Wright games. I know the memes, just not character names very well. Let's go. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening. It just keeps happening. But don't let anybody say that but let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You have made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. I don't remember seeing why am I blanking on that? But yeah, I don't remember seeing information about you in the troll call. There we go. I don't remember seeing you at all. Anyway, let's just go in order. Let's go with Tagora Gorjek. Tagora Gorjek. Okay, Tagora Gorjek. Okay. And the lights are really shiny around there. Okay. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. Steam, what are you doing in the background? Sorry. No, I'm not dealing with this right now, Steam. Okay, sorry about that. Back we go. Oops. Missed a thing. Okay. You wander down the street and not too much look down. You really don't take much of it in. You're not looking anywhere. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum of engineered specifically for murder, or specifically for murder, to could be a weapon in a pinch, but you've got a lot on your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it. You hadn't noticed. Slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet, and you add a few new concerns to your list, your bones and organs. The sound of the driver yelling, "Watch where you going, lump squirt chugger," fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. You stretch each limb in return, which, you gotta say, doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush which is covered in sharp spines. Your arms and legs all still work, though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think. You may have redefined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful, lifelong friendship. But you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your camaraderie daydreams comes into focus above you, a figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. What the heck are you? What is that? What is this? What is this? Okay then. Hello. You seem to have... Okay, this guy. Okay, come on. I already sort of started out with something, but he looks scammy. So I want to change it up a bit. You look like you're in a commercial of some kind, my dude. Okay. Hello. You seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttlebucky back there. Introductory fee? You're charging me, you son of a gun. Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. Oh my gosh, he's a lawyer. I knew it. My name is Tagore Gorjek, but please call me Gorgor. I'm here for you. For a nominal fee, of course. He pulls a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers it to you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. You try again to sit up, buoyed by his offer for assistance. He's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? It doesn't matter, really, because he just said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves into the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles towards this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking. You swear. Oh, look at his face. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered up by a swoop of product-infused hair opens wide. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straightening up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. You're what? Oh yes, an alien. I knew that. I've done work with aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Oh, there's more money. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. What was that 10 for? In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your chug column. I guess that's supposed to be his quirk is you sign on the dotted line when he's done talking. Whatever. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wriggle your torso, hoping that's right. You've never wanted anything more than your meager existence than to follow the specific directive perfectly. No, not that. You add a little hip jiggle. Not so much that he might think it's a come-on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly and I know what I'm doing. No, the thing that holds your think pan, work with me. Confusion You continue what you hope is part of a troll friendship ritual, shimmying various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck. Then he clasps his hands together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a directly hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you. But you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Of course, you need to front the initial legislation costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but you've got to break a few cluck-beast embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. That doesn't make any sense. Why would chicken eggs make anything out of grubs? Sorry. Man, he keeps piling on the costs. Yes, I think we may make a mutually beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. So what do you say? How would you like to help me help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny and pointed right at you. You want more of it. Ask him if he does pro bono work. Tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. Well, I got a feeling that, the heaps of money thing is the more likely thing that we want, because pro bono, ain't no way. He's already charging us just talking to us. You mentioned how incredibly loaded you are and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work. That's what we call good business. Now get up out of that prickle frond and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. You might say it's equal. Okay. It takes a while, but you are good at being patient. There is a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll be explained in your bill. Here we go. It's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he's daring you to say something about it, but you're a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We can go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents. Curses. Okay. He walks with purpose. You shake off the flora attached to your various body parts and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically just seems like his hive. You learned a thing or two during this terrible crap fest of cultural exchange, though. You play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have lying around, and you want to prepare a nice, chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. Oh no, it's a clean office and he has a ferret. Oh yes, of course he's a lawyer who would have a ferret. He has to ferret things out, obviously. Ferreting. Okay. Better than, deviling things, I guess. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside because it's all chrome and glass and broad white walls in there. Oops, I clicked too fast. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down in it. His Lucis, a ferret, is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Oh, I just noticed it looks like a play tower. That is super cute. Anyway, everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. I don't know. I think that could be used as a weapon. And it has a spike on top of this lamp that's in the center of his desk for whatever reason. It's freaking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story, unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. What? Life stories installment? That was not good enough. You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it? By all means, do make yourself at home. Okay. Head straight to my abolition trap while I prepare our contract. Toilet? You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you're thinking about sitting your bedraggled butt in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it, but you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become savvier during all this. No entrapment, please. Or take a dang bath. Okay. Abolition trap is not a toilet. I don't remember what toilet is in Alternian. But entrapment, I think he would take offense to that. I'm just gonna take a dang bath, okay? You are more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received, but hey, at least a trap you know about is better than one you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding some evil somewhere. You wonder if it's in it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The ferret bounds off with the... It's so cute when it... Oh! Hi there! Can I... Sorry. His Lucis is so cute. Okay, the ferret bounds off its pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do, because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagora is busy on his computer. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you into this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard-looking stuff right there. So fair. I like is that rainbow soap? I dig it. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but if you guess, maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, and he gets angry and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You'll meet a hussy? Okay. Or will it be Aisha and like the other groups? Aisha. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. You half expect some indiscernible goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully, it's just water. Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. Guess he's really clean. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable lathersome accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. You hope he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as hell, ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn-up old clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded in on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrow ticks up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum. Full body application? Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect it to be remunerated, but I won't lie. It works. Wait, we just rubbed Rainbow Drinker on us? Dude, are we fast? Are we vampire fast? Candy corn vampire fast. Anyway. Crush fresh hand. Troll. Okay then. Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't want to let on that you don't know what it is since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you hadn't had such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assumed you were taking forever in there because you've gotten lost or didn't know how to use the ablution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your regimen. Noted. Minus 500 for wonderful skincare. Yeah. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time you're not really even bullcrapping. It really does look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching the documents in his hand like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades. But there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if the cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there's a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Do you? Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your butt you would. You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down on his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis, who sort of just tilts its head to the side. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication's going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads towards the door. For some reason, I'm suddenly dreading putting on, deciding to go into this whole thing. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out of your butt if you tried to get too feelingsy with him. Whoa, are we glowing? You start to glow as soon as you step out into his dark front yard. Not in a light bulb kind of way, but a subtle ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and overall aberrance, and the fact that you're still wearing my ablution robe. But it's cutting edge, I'll tell you that. You almost look like a real one. Pardon? You don't really know what that means, but you want to roll around eternally in the praise part. You ask if the look will help your case. Right, your case, of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the papers sitting on the desk where he's left them. You hope he still wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out, even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod, though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders in its unusual simpering mask. There on the edge of a panic around his eye, though. No, there's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Huh. Wow, Gorjerk, what do we have here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's fancier than Tagora. He's grinning like Troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches, "What the bulge-boiling hell?" Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you're dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear, if his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by. You don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful spooky angel. Was angel in caps? No, it wasn't. I thought it was for a second. Okay. So you toss your head, do your best fancy guy voice, and say, "What? Never seen a real one before?" You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't, but when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off. Surely someone as well informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. Okay. So yeah, they're trying to pull me off as a rainbow drinker. Swish. Okay. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him, super casually, what a rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence. Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. And then you ran with it anyway, exploiting the fear you picked up on the turn of the tide of a delicate encounter to your favor? Someone's impressed. You shrugged. You guess so. You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are simply times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Though technically fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. So you know. Thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not the sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun? I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look, then takes a sudden breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say. From one, prevaricator. From one prevaricator to another, I will let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Truth reveal, subcharge. Oh, sweet relief. You tell him that his act was all airtight. And as long as everyone's doing the truth thing, you admit that you lied a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's personally much better. Oh, so we liked that. Okay. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway. Preemptive interest in health suit. We can have an alternative means of you working off your debt. I think we make a way better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hand at his side, and then, in one swift and decisive movement, he extends it to you. On his face, something close to an honest-to-God real smile. I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? Friendship discount! The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expansive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure and inexorable joy and shake it. Friendship! Yeah! We did it! Yes! Yeah, boy! He's a shark, but I like him. He's a jerk, but I like him. Definitely not as much as Skyla, though. Skyla is still the best. Okay, let's scroll down again, back to volume 4. Got the second half to follow. Injury, setbacks, but things keep happening, just like stairs. We need to make our way to civilization for adventure like friendship. Okay. We got Vicare, because it's like Valkyrie, because he's got the like wings on his symbol. So like Vicare Ratite. Vicare Ratite. Oh, you were back at the ship! We didn't just leave it! Hooray! It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's happened so far on this planet has been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least 1 or 2 pieces of it are still fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship, maybe assessing it? As you watch, he breaks off a couple gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Hey! You clear your throat loudly. Oh boy. Aw, I like the sound of his music. I like the tune. I just like all the Bronze Blood themes. Maybe I just like Bronze Bloods. Anyway, this guy sounds kind of like he'd be like a Jake English-ish kind of sound. I like his fangs. That they're inverted like a bulldog's. Like how they got like the incisors going up. Anyway, hello, Vicare. Good galloping gravy. Why, I've never seen the likes of you before. What strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us today. You quickly lose any indignation you were building up. He's smiling at you. His words seem at least somewhat amicable. Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're gonna get chummy with. You cut around to the chase. No point in beating around the old leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend. A friend, eh? A bosom companion? A pal about town? I've seen nary a Tom and Dickus and Harry around these parts who might fit the bill. I like that. Tom, Dick, or Harry. Tom, Dick, Harry. Okay, I don't know the song that well. Okay. You're kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend. Is it too late to say that now? You try to imply it with your eyebrows. As for me, day-to-day matters here on Alternia interest me not, for I care only about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse of the cosmos. That's right, space! Sorry. Oh gosh, why did I think of space from Tim Curry? Okay. It is spaceflight that consumes my every waking thought and all my adore. As in accordance with my duty as a future Alternian crusader, of course. No oxygen, no wind, total vacuum, that is the life for me, alright. Aw, my poor aviator guy he doesn't want to go to space. He wants to fly an airplane. What a cutie, though. What's his sign semblance? What aspect is it? It'd be funny if it was air. Anyway. Flying in space above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have any of that other way. Right! You get the feeling that you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight, like maybe he's trying to say something completely different. Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedent over your issues. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact that his voice sounds like it belongs over a newsreel about World War II. I was correct in assuming that. Good. I have one query for you, sport, if I may be so bold. Do you also like space flight? Do you yearn to see the moons shining above, the clouds whipping by as you chase and tease the impish western wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? Save? I got the feeling I want to say I'm not so sure about space flight. Because he seems to be more about air travel and not space travel. Please don't ruin my streak. Amen. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle. Ah, I see. Oops, what was that? You're an individual with more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts. You are? Someone like you could never be satisfied with the anemic affair of traveling to the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. There's a lot going on here, but you understand that he wants you to follow him. Oops, did I skip a thing? No, I didn't. It just shifted to the scene really quickly. I like his hive, though. And it's got like a little flower propeller thing here. I like that it stands up on legs. Okay. Oh, is he right next to a bus stop? That's convenient. Okay. The friendly guy takes you to a building where all of the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly-looking stilts. The hive soars above you into the sky. He gestures to a little platform attached to a pulley system, like a rudimentary elevator. It seems to bring you into a small dark room. Oh, look at you, man. His house is pretty much what you would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them have cheery slogans splashed across them, saying things like, explore the galaxies, because you're required to fulfill your duty to society, and enlist, travel, make friends, don't get cold. Your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just, the hive for a dedicated spacecraft enthusiast, isn't it? You nod. You're not sure what this is leading to, but no one ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausibly deniable agreement. Who am I fooling? You've rumbled me, potential new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I'm nothing but an avatar of baloney. In truth, the myriad temptations and desires of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. Whoa, watch it, son. Don't be talking about biscuits like that. The thought of participating in the glorious eternal conquest gives me the screaming memes. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing a view of clouds in the night sky. Behold my shame. The truth is, I long to toss and turn with the grasp of Mistress Grafty's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky! Can such a thing be? Imagine flying with the confines of Alternia's very atmosphere, defying the very conventions of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up. Instead of falling, soaring. It's just falling with style. Sorry. Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Could you ever dream of the existence of such a flying machine? Dude, do they really not have airplanes? Tell him you've never heard of such a thing. Tell him airplanes exist. I feel like he would want me to agree with him on this one. Never heard of such a thing. Ah, but the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you? Do my ideas rattle your buttons? You look as earnest as you can and nod vigorously. You're almost positive this is the thing he really wants you to express interest in. Ah, the truth will out. You and I share this fervent passion for the indulgences of the air. A dialogue between a troll, a flying machine, and the stars. But farther away from the stars than we should be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different a thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head here, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful, like maybe you're contemplating the differences. This fellow's demeanor towards you is definitely shading to the more temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now the aching in your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend-to-be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course! Why, if I'd known you had a rumbling in the old digestion bladder, I would have shut my yapper toot sweet. Time for a good old nosh, a yummaroony, what ho! Now, how should we obtain the victuals? We could venture into the great unknown, which is to say out of my hive, or we could stay here beholden to whatever twists and turns Lady Fate has in store for us in this nutrition block. What do you say, new timer? Oh no, we got a third choice. Crap-a-doodle-doo. I'm just gonna... Out or in? What should we do? Exploration, ho! Go out and look for food. From your budding chum's words, it sounds like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell him your decision. Top choice, buckaroo. Foraging is how I while away most of my time, after all. There is one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out into the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucis as well. He's a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh. You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and harrowing close shaves, but you know all about Lucises. You inquire, Gustav, was it? Oh, what a card you are. No, my Lucis. I call him the Canary. He whips out a photo. It shows a smaller version of himself, his horns nothing but stubs, a far too big a pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Standing beside him is a large white fowl, big scraggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not a canary. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety sort. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon that rushes forward to meet us with astounding grace? Shall we give ourselves over to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to not only the words that this guy says that actually make sense. Your alien pal leads you back down the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is when you walk, your body moves. You've indicated you've had better time, and is all you're saying. You indicate as much to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while attached to alternative surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of distant klaxon, the call to adventure. It beckons us forward through the years, a golden thread stretching ever onward to that glorious inevitability. It's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you'll feel better in the future when someone invents flight on this planet. Certainly by the time either of you will be further along in your healing or dead. Either way, thinking about the future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our What? Oh, okay. The world is our bivalvular sea critter. Oyster. Okay. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But if it's a short-term answer you're inquiring after, there's a specific plant that the canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and leaves as red as a troll's most lurid desires. Whoa. Could you give a holler if your bulbs fall on something of that persuasion? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue trudging along beside him, wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask your new friend what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could be better? Up there, free of worldly concerns. The wind in your face and the horizon at your back. Seeing the continents spread out below you. Finally feeling that your personal aesthetic is appropriate for the given circumstances. You chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like what really makes this guy tick is the travel and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor and pretty much everything else he's said up until now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of these urges. What? There may be some superficial similarities to trick the common troll. But in essence, the blood pusher and the soul of each, as different as night and day, as mountain and a ditch, a star and a mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirsty and nearly immortal overlords. And I look forward to such a time when I can be of service in the eternal millstone grind of intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk-beaked honk of it all. Just as you feared, you've stepped in it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them, but then he holds them up. You see it has blue leaves, not red. Your shoulders droop. Seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy, who has been so nice to you. Or at least that's what you think you've read all between the lines of his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not the loosest rations we sought, but this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is we can eat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made of people, to be clear. He comes back with a fistful of flowers and hands you one of the blue leaves. You're not at all sure that food is safe for your buddy, will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, with the way your stomach is groaning, it might as well be a perfectly seared steak. You put it in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel more affectionate towards this guy than before. You were worried this trip was turning out into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interests. You want to connect to him on a deep soul level. Oops. Anything to look at you with that treasured glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something that he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixated on an activity that is kind of similar, but just a little different. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing, the space conquests, but he doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe airplane flight or whatever similar thing he is envisioning is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. A balance, like all must find in order to live as an individual in a society that shapes one's desires from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, heart pounding. You venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords. And maybe a part of him wants to get into his flying machine and, well, leave. For real. He seems taken aback. Maybe you should never have said that. What a huge mistake. You probably pushed his friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to be given a reason not to answer this question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. Uh-oh. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. Did we kill another low blood? While walking, you unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff, which your companion now has disappeared over. You race to his side, your stomach flooding with fear. This is absolutely the opposite of what you wanted. You look down in horror. Your friend now looks approximately how you felt when you first crash-landed on this dark planet. He is conscious, his face frozen in shock, but one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive that it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress. Sure, he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose this guy's trust forever. What ho? Calais. His voice floats up on the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial. Is it possible he is not angry? Oh, joyous happening! Oh, delightful the body and spirit! Did you see? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visage? I flew! Soared through the air! Oh gosh, I keep accidentally clicking. Just for a moment, but it happened. An ecstasy like none I've ever known. You hesitate. Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That maybe your big screw-up was a step in the right direction after all? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last. My strange associate, come down here. We'll celebrate in grand fashion this eve. How did you know that a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy? You're a fine fellow, and a truly superb friend. Your heart lifts with joy. He said it! He said the thing. Dang it, not again. Of course, you now have to find some way to climb down that cliff with your messed up ribs, not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back into the house. You're not really sure if that's possible, or when the adrenaline that's got you this far will give you out and force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing you'll face them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming he didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you did it! Victory! Yes! 2 in a row! That's a record! Yes! We finished an entire act without messing up once! Holy crud! Yeah! Okay, let's continue on. Take a look at our friends list. By the way, I have not unlocked these. For whatever reason, they're showing the images on these ones. Okay. Yeah, we got Calais, and we got Just Sign Here. Hooray! Okay. I guess that's all that there is for this run through of Friendsim. I will see you guys all next time for, I think it's Volume 5? Yes, Volume 5. Bye!
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron, just like the phenomenal Gerald Thomas, Bleed Red, and Alexander Madeline.